I'm Katie.
And I'm Claire, and today we have an episode for you where Katie is going to give us her theory on how getting a job is kind of like getting into a frat house. So stay tuned, you're not going to want to miss this one.
Corporate crash out. Will you cash in or crash out? Okay, first, I wanted to start with something, and this is really important. If you take away one thing from this whole podcast, it's going to be this, okay? Do not trust your parents. I know, blah, 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 like they seem to know everything in the world. When you get a job or looking for a job, they're like the least knowledgeable person to talk to. And I mean that to say because all your parents and my parents too, they literally mailed in their resumes and printed it and walked into like a bank and handed it in. And that's how they got their job. And it was like really bad because I'm speaking from experience, okay? I started doing shit like that because my parents were like, oh, blah, 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 that's how you get a job. Just walk into Coca-Cola and hand them your resume. And that's what I did in 1991. Okay, Mom.
Katie, so you did not actually walk. Katie, wait, pause. Did you actually walk into Coca-Cola in Atlanta and give them your resume?
No. But here's what I did do. My dad was like, BCG is such a great place to work. If you don't know what BCG is, it's one of the big three, which is the top three consulting firms. So that's BCG, Bain, and McKinsey. There's also like the big four, and that's EY, PwC, KPMG, and Deloitte.
Good job.
Claire's staring at
Good
me
job.
over there, I
was waiting for you to ask the accountant to fill in on that one, but full star.
But anyways, so yeah, my dad was like, oh my gosh, BCG is such a good company, blah, 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 blah. So I literally slid into like their email, like ask us questions or whatever. And I was like, hey, my freshman year, I was like, I like really want to be an intern and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I get you guys coffee, blah, blah. I had no idea this was like a big company that you can't really do this. You can't really cold email companies and just ask for internships. That's like not how things work. But they were actually really nice, unlike McKinsey. And they actually set up a time with me to like talk to me, and a recruiter set up time for 30 minutes, which was actually kind of cool. But it didn't go anywhere, obviously. Because I did not work there. I got rejected like 3 times from BCG. So.
It's fine. Maybe next year, Katie. Maybe next year.
No, I don't want to work there. We can cut that part out just in case.
Just in case.
Okay, but anyways, yeah, so take it from me. I've really messed up and wasted some of my valuable time. Okay, and I know you guys listened to them in high school about like how to do calculus, where to go to college. But at the end of the day, calculus is still calculus.
I'm sorry. Everyone's parents are not teaching them how to do calculus. I never brought homework home. I didn't do homework.
Claire.
For the record, me and Katie would not have been friends in like high school.
Why does everyone say that to me in college? My boyfriend was like, yeah, we would have dated in high school. And I was like, oh, okay. But anyways, yeah, Claire was way more popular than me. But low key though, Claire, it was out of like 2 people in your graduating class. So I didn't want to hear it. Okay. Maybe I was like one of the least popular out of 142, but you literally had 2 people in your class. So
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Okay.
Anyways, my parents always gave me different advice, but it was equally as bad. So, they were like, have you tried going to a job board on campus?
Oh, the career fairs?
No, but they called it a job board. I still don't know what that means, but
I don't know.
And they'd be like, you need to go to every career fair.
Yeah, my parents were like that too. They're like, go to all the career fairs, print out your resume, and like in business, do you remember having to print your resume out on these really nice resume paper? Do you remember?
Yeah,
and then you had to like
resume paper. I had to go to Office Depot and buy resume paper.
You bought it? They give it to you for free.
Yeah, well, I didn't know that, Katie. I was not well connected.
Okay, but
See, I
anyways,
would not have made it in the frat party.
wait, okay, we're not even there yet. So they're like, what the
Okay.
fuck is Claire talking about? Okay, but anyways, my point is that I mean, my parents used to tell me to go to career fairs. The advisor sometimes would tell me, oh, make sure to go to the career fairs. And you stand in line for 20 minutes to talk to maybe like Square, not even Microsoft, Google, or any really high level company. And you sit there with your book open and resume paper. And literally, what they used to do was look at my resume, say, we don't take these, give them back, or I would see them take it and throw them all in the trash. Like I actually saw people just dumping resumes in the trash. They do not care. Nobody wants to touch a piece of paper these days.
Okay, I'm actually going to come back on you on that one a little bit because
What?
I think it's more dependent upon your industry. For finance and consulting, I think that's very true, but I think it's still super relevant in engineering and like some and HR. I've had people keep mine. I actually
Really?
went to the career fair one year and I saw someone pick up my resume and put a star on it and put it in a separate pile.
Okay,
And I
shut up,
felt so
Claire.
special. I have never felt so special in my whole life. But people spend too much time on the resume. And I think it's more about like talking to the person and making connection and following up on LinkedIn afterwards nowadays.
I do that
You know,
too, but
like
I
I would
think
find the exact person I talked to and
me
like
too.
DM them on LinkedIn.
But I think the other thing is like I think you're also more attracted to smaller companies than I am. So maybe that's part of it as well. Like when I go in, I'm looking for pretty large global companies like MasterCard, Visa, things like that. And so they're just like, if it's not through our system, we have a million candidates waiting. We're not going to take your,
Yeah.
tiny, scrappy little resume and read it. Just submit it online and have the AI go through it like everybody else. So,
So I guess the moral of me and Katie hashing this out is you need to go in with a plan and knowing who you're going to talk to and approach it that way.
yeah. I mean, I would definitely still bring the resume, but I wouldn't be, really hurt if somebody ended up not taking it or just asking you to submit it online because that is also pretty common.
Yeah. I agree. And I think that as soon as someone does basically put your resume back in your face or throw it away, then that's immediately when you know that you need to switch to those online, more modern channels.
The other thing is like, I feel like my parents try to tell me, oh, well, make sure to thank people after they interview you. And I'm not saying don't do that, definitely do. But I was explaining to my parents, sometimes it's just a hire view. Like, there's not actually a person interviewing me, And
Exactly.
they look
Exactly.
at me
Yeah.
like, what do you mean there's not a person? What do you mean? Don't you have the email? And sometimes they won't give you the email because they get tired of getting spammed with all the emails. So I'm like, I even can't even find their email. I mean, what I used to do when I was younger, because my parents were like, oh, it's such a big deal, is like message them on LinkedIn and thank them. But honestly, if they don't give you their email, like clearly they don't want to be reached, in my opinion.
Yeah. Like I'm not about to hit someone up after a phone screening.
Yeah, okay, that's the other thing. I don't think they know what a phone screening is, like our parents. But basically, if you guys probably have some idea, is that when you first interview at a company for an internship or at a full-time job, you go through a phone screening. And so you first meet with the HR person. This person really doesn't know anything role specific about your job. They literally just know what's on the job description. And we can get into some of this a little bit later in like the application and interviewing sections. But
But basically, I think about it like a pulse check. Like they're literally just trying to make sure you have a heartbeat and that you're not lying about your resume.
yeah.
But anyways, Katie, I am just really wanting to hear the frat
Okay.
theory, frat
Okay.
job theory.
So basically, to kind of set the scene for some of the people that maybe haven't had as much interview experience as Claire and I. And I'm saying I have a lot of interview experience because even though I don't have a full-time job, I have interviewed with a lot of companies and been rejected by a lot of companies. And
Wait,
one of
so
the
now we're telling people to listen to advice from you?
wait, though.
Honestly,
But if you have not been rejected, there's no way, and nobody has been rejected in like 2025. You know what I'm saying? Like my boyfriend's boss
yeah.
was like, "Oh, I've never been rejected from a job." And he's like well, you must have not applied in the past 5 years because the amount of auto rejections you just get, it's actually
It's
insane.
brutal.
It's insane. And like I've also had companies that just they're really bad at their recruiting timelines, or there's a lot of other things that doesn't necessarily mean a reflection on you, but like you will apply, you'll get rejected, and that's just part of the process. But anyways, to kind of dive into how this whole interview process works is kind of like you're a freshman and it's fall semester. You just started college. You haven't rushed a sorority yet. You really have no connections. And there's no frat guys your age, aka coworkers your age. So you really don't know how to get into the frat, aka the company that you want to have a position in.
Let me add to that. To set the scene, you're standing out there with 100 other girls that are just like you. You're standing outside the frat with 100 other girls, 100 little
With
blonde
spray
bitches in the
cans.
exact same situation with spray tans, and you are all trying to get into the frat.
It might even be like their beach themed week where everyone's just in a bikini and like the jean shorts and yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, it's copy paste, different font, and everyone wants in. Katie, how are they gonna pick which girl to let in?
Okay. How they're gonna pick, and first of all, if you went to a college with no frats or sororities, you can probably stop this podcast right here because you probably already have a job. But if you went to a college with frats and sororities, there's multiple ways to get in, as I'm sure everybody, has imagined. So the first thing you can do is know one of the guys. Well, this is hard because you guys are all freshmen. It's not like you guys are going to be in an intro level class together. It's really, really difficult, but that is still a possibility if you have a friend of a friend. But again, these are really rare scenarios. So that would be like a referral in the corporate world is I know somebody, they work at this company and they are letting me in essentially. Like somebody.
And can we just say this is probably the fastest way to get into the party, aka the company. If you actually genuinely know someone or know someone that knows that person very well and will vouch for you, if you know a brother, I would say your chances of getting an increased 80%.
Yeah, I totally agree. But the other thing I'll say is there's a big difference between like a senior brother and like a sophomore brother. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh, yeah. You really gotta go big or go home, honestly.
Yes. The sophomore brother really has like no pull. He's just like literally just got hazed 2 days ago. So like, not a lot going for him. But if you get one of the seniors, especially one of the seniors who's on like
social
chair. So if you get the social chair person, you are locked in for life. You just did nepotism, nepo baby.
You're not only getting into the frat, you're getting to go in the DJ stand, and you're probably getting special treatment. You're probably going to get mixed drinks. It's going to be great.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, that's the first thing. And as you can imagine, it's so hard to get a referral. So that's the first thing. The second way to get in is to already be on the list. Now, if you don't know anyone, this is going to be really difficult. But basically being on the list is the equivalent to going to a tier 1 school. So this is like for the consultant and investment banking and all these other, really high prestigious companies. The tier 1 schools are typically the Ivy League schools. So like Harvard, Penn, NYU.
Wait,
U Michigan.
I'm confused. Is there like a list? Like, can I Google tier 1 schools and there's a list?
Yeah, there's a list.
Wait, actually?
Yeah, for most investment banking and consulting, they differ a little bit, but there is people, they just like pick off the top and they heavily recruit at those schools, if not others. U Michigan, UC Berkeley, Notre Dame, Georgetown, Northwestern, Duke, UVA, Stanford, MIT, U Chicago, and some other top liberal arts colleges. And then if you're second tier, that's WashU, Carnegie Mellon, UNC, USC, UT Austin, Vanderbilt, UCLA, Emory, Rice, Boston College, Indiana University.
Dang, the more you know. I went to a tier 2 school and didn't know it.
I know. I'm like kind of annoyed that we're tier 2, but whatever. But the trick is you might think that being on the list will just get you into the party. But if you come to the party super late, if it's already like midnight and it's full, it's full. You know what I'm saying? They'll start turning people away.
Yeah.
So this is a big deal to like apply really early. And for some of these jobs, especially in investment banking and consulting, you need to apply a year ahead of time. Like actually a year. You're going to start your internship June 2026. You need to have already applied June 2025. Like that's how
I would
early.
even stretch that to say I have seen some recruit 2 years out in accounting and in consulting. I've seen 2 and 3 years out, even for first time jobs too, like full time jobs. I accepted
Yeah.
my full time job more than a year out.
Wait, did you?
Okay, maybe exactly a year.
Yeah.
But
I think
like
for
I was late to the game. I was late to the game. People in my like cohort had already accepted at like EY.
yeah. I would say, and who's notorious for, I mean, isn't Deloitte? Let me see what Deloitte internships are right now, because I'm pretty sure Deloitte's the one that's actually crazy in all the investment banking firms.
I always gag when I see like job listings and it's like 2029. And I'm like, bitch, I don't know what I want for lunch tomorrow. You think I know what I want to do in 5 years? Like, come on.
Yeah. No, but actually, it's insane. And then investment banking, like, it's crazy because some people apply their like freshman year of college for their junior internship. And I'm like, you haven't done anything yet. You have no resume. It's so difficult to get into those types of companies because you have to apply with having done so much already to make it seem, you could be successful in the role, but it's 2 years out.
Yeah, they're literally recruiting for 2027 right now. I just looked it
Oh,
up.
love.
So two years out. So, think early, think fast, I guess.
Yeah. So if you really want one of those top tier companies, especially if you just want to try it as an intern, which is way better than if you fully commit to a full-time job and you hate it, do apply a little early. So even if you're on the short
Get
list.
on the list.
Well, they're already probably in college. So it's too late to get on the list. But if you're on the list, go early. Do the pregame early, just everything sped up. Okay.
What's the pregame, Katie?
The pregame. The pregame is an internship. Okay? So you got to the party before everybody else did, before it was cool, nobody was there. You were just, kind of hanging out, getting to know people, not really doing anything super crazy important. So that is another method to get in. I took an L. I spent 2 extra hours at the frat party, but I'm going to get in at the end of the night. But the trick here is to obviously not reject the future job, because some people do reject the offer. They're like, instead of K-Sig, like pregame, I'm going to go to the K-Sig's pregame, but then I'm going to go to beta, and then I'm going to try to go back into K-Sig. Well, you already messed up at that point. You just got to stay in one. Yeah. Like if I go and I interview at JP Morgan and I intern and then I decide, oh, I'm actually going to go full time at like Bain. Oh, I'm going to come back to JP Morgan. Just kidding. I didn't like Bain. You do not have any sort of advantage whatsoever. Yeah. You just lost it.
Say good luck unless you have, again, the experience or a brother.
Yeah, knowing a brother.
Like, I don't think that's an impossible move. But like if you were at JP Morgan, you go to Bain, but you all of a sudden befriend a brother at JP Morgan, you're still probably gonna get in.
Okay, the other thing too is, and this is getting a little complicated, but Claire, and we know this well, you know how some frats, they get, in trouble? And then they kind of have to merge. So it's okay, it's beta and K-Sig. Well, beta just got in trouble for a bunch of stuff. So now the beta guys are kind of the K-Sig guys. You know what I'm talking about? So let's say you went to JP Morgan as an internship, went to Bain full time. I didn't like Bain, but you know what? I know some people from Bain that just moved to JP Morgan. Well, now I'm going to go to JP Morgan. Boom. That's another way to do it.
No, that's so real. Like people, I feel like I've seen studies about this too, about how like, there's like a whole psychological thing. Like when people start to leave a company, they like go in flocks.
Yes.
Just like when people leave a frat party, they start to like, if enough people leave, then everyone leaves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the other thing is even if you hate your internship, still get to know everybody because if they hated it too and they go somewhere else, well, now you know a bunch of people that are like kind of looking for the same role, same environment as you were looking for, but they're going in all these cool directions that you might want to follow in. So that's another
Yeah.
thing. Okay,
Okay, so
now
we've got on the list. We've come in from knowing a brother. Are there any other ways in?
in the pregame.
In the pregame. So we've pregamed, we've made it on the list, and we've known a brother. What are there
Well, it's
any
kind
other
of
ways to get
or.
in?
Yeah. So,
Or
okay, if unfortunately you are one of the people, the 100 girls screaming outside that still haven't gotten in at this point, and you're already freezing cold and you've already chugged all the alcohol and you're like, I'm going to party somewhere tonight. I suggest the sneaking in the back door method, okay?
Katie, that sounds so inappropriate.
Okay, stop.
I can't.
Okay, so if you are actually really dedicated, you want to get into this company, what you're going to do is pretend and apply for a job that you don't want. For example, let's say I want to go to MasterCard, okay? I want to be a financial analyst. But when I get there, I see they only have HR internships. Well, what am I going to do? I'm going to apply to MasterCard, get the HR internship, make a bunch of connections in finance or whatever role I want. And then the next year, I'm going to apply for finance. So I already know all the people at the company. I didn't get the position, but I got into the company. And so that's sneaking
genius.
in the backdoor method.
And I think you have to have the right mindset to be a backdoor frat entrance kind of girly, because you have to be willing to, like, you have to want it so much that you're going to do a job you don't like for however long.
Yes, you have to get, those white sneakers dirty. You're going to be tracking through the mud, tracking through all the way back, stepping over some of the people that's already conked out in the backyard. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to do some dirty work, but you're going to get in there.
You are dedicated. You are going to get in the frat party.
Oh, if you accept the offer and then decline, so maybe you get a full-time offer and then you're like, oh, I'm declining it, I don't want it, but you accepted it at first. That's like, I blacked out at the frat and got emergency services called on me. I can never return to that frat again. That's the vibe. Like, you threw up at the frat party, you had to like get wheeled out of there by an ambulance. Like, you're not getting in there again. Okay. So that's what I have to say about that.
You're done. You're done.
Yeah. But it doesn't matter if it's, like teak or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, well.
Katie, I just have to say, frat parties as getting a job I've never related to something more.
Oh, and if you're a guy and you're like, what are you talking about? I'm not a blonde standing outside, like, who's fake tan and blondes. Like, I can't relate to this. Imagine you're still a guy trying to get into a frat party. That's how hard this is, okay? You're a straight guy. You're not a brother. And you're like, okay, my frat isn't throwing tonight. How am I going to get into this frat? Okay.
Whoa, that just took it up a notch, Katie. Like, damn, I have respect for men who can do that. Like, men who can get into other frat parties. I'm like, you're smart.
Okay. The other thing we wanted to talk about, and this is kind of on a similar trajectory, but you know how if I'm like a 6 attractiveness wise and I go to ASU, one of the big reasons I didn't subject myself to the Auburn, UGA, SEC, whatever schools is because if I went to some place like ASU or Auburn, I would be a 2. I just can't go through that. I can't.
This is so real. You can be the star or you can be average at best.
Yeah, you can be a big fish in a small pond. So, if I'm a coder and I go work at Microsoft, I'm probably the worst, like one of the worst coders there. I mean, it's so hard to be one of the people in Microsoft, but also be the best coder there. I mean, that's like an insane skill level versus if I'm, working for an accountant firm that doesn't really have any software engineers and I'm just like coding an app at my own pace. Maybe you're the best person they have there and are so much more valuable to them. But you really have to decide like what kind of environment you want to be in. The other thing I'll say though is if you go to ASU, you know how to do your eyelashes, you know how to fake tan now, you know how to get
Exactly.
extensions. So you also are a little bit able to up yourself because all those other people that know a lot more than you are rubbing off on you and you are learning so much. So a lot of people do go with the small fish in a big pond mentality at first.
Yeah.
And then when they get older and they're like, okay, I want to be the big fish in the small pond now. I'm going to move to a company that'll like appreciate me more. So, yeah, you kind of got to decide, do you want to be the ASU 2 or MIT 9?
Yes, I agree, and I think there's definitely benefits to both. Like if you're gonna go ahead and be the MIT 9, you're gonna be learning in a different way. You're gonna be learning because you're teaching people around you because maybe you're at a higher skill level, or you're gonna
Yeah.
be moving up quicker. But if you are gonna be the ASU 2, you're gonna learn from people rather than from like the experiences yourself of you teaching people and teaching yourself. So I don't know. I think it's like two very different mindsets, but definitely a great analogy.
Yeah.
Me and Katie chose to be the MIT 9s, by the way.
With college, yeah, we're the MIT 9s. Oh, I wanted to talk about work snacks just for fun. What work snacks do you
Katie,
have?
I don't want to talk about work snacks because you're making me jealous with your boba.
Why?
Yeah, when you get into the frat, what are you drinking?
Yeah, jungle juice or a beer. Also, the jungle
I'm
juice might be a little risky.
I'm so mad because we don't have Coke Zero. We don't have Coke Zero in our fridge anymore, and it's really becoming a problem. I don't even drink soda that much, but like
Really?
once a month, I really want a Coke Zero, and it's not there.
We have Coke Zero and Diet Coke and regular Coke and Sprite and Celsius. But all the Celsius runs out on Tuesday, which is so annoying because everybody loves it so much. Oh, it's just a mad dash for the Celsius. But we also have a lot of snacks, but it's like a lot of chips and stuff.
Yeah, one of my internships, we had a slushy machine, and they would change out the flavor.
What?
Yeah.
That's so insane. The CEO of the company has a frozen yogurt station in his office.
You get to go?
You only get to go if you present to him. So,
Oh,
yeah.
that's
But
sad.
yeah. Oh, do you have a
Oh wait,
cafeteria?
no, Katie.
Oh.
No, not around here, partner. We have a break room with like a kitchenette with like our fridges and our snacks. And my gosh, we had this one girl and she kept bringing like full sized like kitchen appliances from home. And like she brought like a giant ass like espresso machine with like hand pulling espresso shots in our break room. And then she
With the
brought a
ground
ninja
up coffee
blender.
beans?
Yeah, like she was grinding coffee beans and like pulling an espresso
No.
shot. And then she had like a full size blender, like a ninja blender she brought in. And there's like this investment guy, and he sits outside the break room, and he was on a meeting, and he had to like mute himself and turn off his camera because the blender was so loud.
No. See, I just think at that point you're a little too comfortable. There's a level of uncomfortability everybody kind of has at work, a level of awkwardness, a level of like we're not friends, and that sometimes is a good thing, you know?
I agree, but are you ready for me to really lock your socks off? She was a temp.
Well, also I feel like, if you're a temp, fuck it, whatever. You're gonna leave in like 2 weeks
I
anyway.
guess like
So
yeah, you go in with the expectation, so you may as well just like genuinely enjoy what you want to do. I guess I don't know.
Claire, have you ever been attracted to somebody at work?
I plead the fifth.
No, you can't plead the fifth. So a podcast. There's no secrets.
Um, Not in a long time, honestly, but I feel like as an intern, I would be mad crushing.
Did you ever, like exchange phone numbers or anything, or just
Katie, this is
far?
accounting. No, ma'am.
Oh,
I'm professional, calm, cool, and collected. It sounds like you have a story to tell.
no.
It sounds like you have a story to tell.
I knew this girl, and at one of her previous internships, she hooked up with like 12 other interns.
What?
Yeah.
What? I guess like if you're hooking up with the other interns, they'll never know. They're still gonna give you a job.
I don't know, will they?
How would they know unless one of them told their supervisor, "Hey, I banged the other intern." And who's gonna do that? "Hey, manager, I slept with so and
Guess
so."
what? That is so funny. No, I don't know. But I feel like, I don't know. It's so weird because I go to some companies, I feel like we've talked about this, and they're like, oh, do not, do anything with anybody else here. Everyone's relationships, you'll have to disclose it, blah, 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 blah. Like, super intense. But I've also been in some places where they're like, literally everybody dates here, and it's just basically a whole Hinge platform at this point is our company.
That
And
is terrifying.
I feel like it depends because at some of the bigger companies, they're just like, yeah, this is how we meet people. And I guess they work in like different enough departments, so it's not a huge deal. But I have heard that like a lot. Like everybody's like, yeah, everybody here is married to each other.
I mean, I guess like when you're like working full time, you're there so much. It's like where like no shit you're gonna meet someone at work, you know?
What do you think about the consultants though? They work 60, 70-hour weeks. They're
Exactly.
definitely
Exactly what
they're
I'm saying.
definitely hooking up with each other.
No way they're not. All of the work trips too? Are you kidding me?
That's actually so funny. That's probably why they like their life so much. No, but I used to work, or I heard from
Hmm.
some people that in consulting companies, the guys will hit on you like crazy. Like I've heard that from so many different people, because there's just a lot of parties, there's a lot of drinking and stuff, and they will hit on girls. And so, why are you looking like that, Claire? Are you thinking of joining a consulting?
Maybe I'm in the wrong career.
Some people who like the girls on TikTok they'll just get dressed up and they'll just pace back and forth outside of the Goldman Sachs building because they want to meet like a Goldman Sachs guy. But how are you going to do that if you don't work at Goldman Sachs? So you just gotta like kind of
Bam.
be there when they're there.
Okay, so next time we're gonna do a deep dive on which companies has the hottest men. I will put my LinkedIn stalking to work.
Okay, Claire has to do the research on that one. But yes, we can talk about companies and how attractive and available. I feel like we have to count availability and attractiveness.
That's gonna take a
And
lot of research.
well, Claire, I believe in you. Okay, guys, I think that's all we have for this week. But thank you so much for tuning in. Please follow our Instagram and fill out our listener inbox so you can write crazy corporate stories, any advice you guys have, or just open feedback. We really appreciate it when you guys write in, and we'll go over those responses next week. So we're really looking forward to that. We love you guys, and we will see you next week.